What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brain Freeze podcast. This is the season 2 premiere. Season 1 has kind of been lost in time over the last 2 years, man. I used to have a separate channel for it. I didn't think I would continue with the Brain Freeze podcast, so I kind of just deleted the channel, to be honest. And the videos are out there somewhere, I'm sure, but season 2 is going to be a lot different than we've ever done any iteration of the Brain Freeze podcast. Before, it would be very focused on the stories and the hardships of people. And while the Brain Freeze is still a mental health podcast and we are going to have that focus, it's going to be a lot more consumable as a podcast. It's going to be a lot more friendly to a vaster audience and not to specifically who would be affected by that kind of episode, if that makes sense. We are here for more marketability. We want to broaden our audience and get more eyes on the Brain Freeze podcast so more people can see these episodes and actually be affected by the stories that our guests are telling. I'm very appreciative for all the support that we've already gotten on season 2 of the Brain Freeze podcast. You guys have been super supportive of relaunching this, and I'm super excited to bring it back. Season 2 is going to be different in ways. We are going to talk a lot more than just the mental health aspects. It's going to be a lot more podcast style, talking about the guest for a while before getting into the mental health aspects of things. There's also going to be mini games featured on YouTube where the guests have the opportunity to win prizes for their community for giveaways and stuff like that. If you guys are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, stuff like that, then the mini games are going to be featured in the podcast, at least the mini games themselves. You might still hear talk about the mini games, but specifically because the mini games kind of require visual aid for you to enjoy them to their fullest extent. So if you guys are watching or listening on Spotify, iHeart, or Apple Podcasts, then I encourage you to check it out on YouTube at the Brain Freeze Podcast on YouTube. Then you guys can watch the full experience and see what the guests and myself look like, if you guys are interested in that at all. But that's all I got, guys. I just want to give a little disclaimer before we started off here. The Brain Freeze is a mental health podcast, and not all stories are going to be easy to listen to. So please be cautious as you guys are listening. If you guys aren't ready to hear certain things regarding disabilities, sometimes we're going to get into some suicidal stories and go a lot deeper with a lot of the stories that we tell on the Brain Freeze podcast. There will be warnings in the description and everything. I encourage you to check those out and make sure that if you guys aren't ready to listen to certain aspects of the Brain Freeze, that you guys do not, and look elsewhere for your podcast needs. But I do appreciate all you guys for being so supportive. And I'm gonna stop going and talking now, and I'll let you guys enjoy the episode. Okay. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, to the season 2 premiere of the Brain Freeze podcast. Man, it's been a while since I've done one of these, man. It feels great to get back into it, and we're launching season 2 with an absolute banger, with a brand new guest that we've actually never spoken to on any of the podcasts before, RedHeadVixen. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I don't believe we ever talked to you on the Cushion Confessions. Did we? I think we planned on it, but it just never worked out with the timing, I think.
Yeah, I think we planned on it, never did.
And I know I've definitely tried to talk to you a few times before, and then my timing didn't line up and your timing didn't line up, and it was just a whole list of things. But we did end up finally finding a time that worked with us, which is kind of crazy because your life is extremely hectic right now. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this once again. We can go ahead and start with the questions to start off with anything here. So, all right. So we broke it up into a little bit of categories here. Red knows all the questions beforehand for the most part. I did change up a few. I added a few just to fit more of the mini games because I didn't really know what to do as far as some of the categories. But we'll go ahead and dive into the first category here, which is Limitless. So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of how long you've been with Limitless.
Well, I've been with Limitless since July of 2023. I constantly go back and look at that video of them posting me. It's like, welcome, Red. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this video, I remember this. It was during Respawn Recruits, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would line up with that timeline. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big announcement to have during the Respawn Recruits competition, and we'll talk about more
Hmm.
about Respawn Recruits later. But that's actually pretty cool. So you've been with them since July of 2023. How long have you been a content creator for?
So I was a content creator for a few years. I started back in 2020. Um, and then I was kind of on and off for a little bit, but I didn't fully commit until about January of 2023, maybe.
Okay. Oh, so you really haven't been a creator for that long then?
Nope.
That's pretty impressive because you have a pretty strong and loyal community. Like,
Yeah.
especially during Respawn Recruits, and that was only like a few months into you creating content, then we'll talk a
Mm-hmm.
little more on that later. That I definitely thought you've been around much longer than that. So that's
Mm-mm.
that's pretty cool. So tell me about when you first learned about Limitless. Did you know about them before you started creating content, or was it kind of like you noticed them as you started getting bigger? Did someone recommend you?
So there was a point where I had first learned about Limitless because there was this, I don't know if you know what this app is called. It was called Hover.
I do know Hover. Yep.
Yeah, that little TikTok for gamers where you
Hmm.
would click on it, you'd see a clip or whatever of somebody, and then you click on their clip and it would take you to their stream. Well, I met two Limitless members from that app. One was Kim Meow and one was Colep. I found them because of it. And I didn't necessarily know that they were in Limitless at the time that I met them. But later down the road, I found out about a Valorant tournament that this org, Limitless, was holding. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be in a Val tournament, blah, 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 blah. So I signed up. And later down the line, when they picked me up for a team or whatever, and we were doing scrims and stuff, I realized, oh my God, Kim and Cole are in this. They're a part of the org. How like small world is that? So that was kind of when I started learning about Limitless.
That's fair. So you mentioned Valorant. Obviously I would say your main game is Valorant. I don't know if you even divert from that. I see you only playing Valorant pretty much. Um, have you been a Valorant gamer pretty much before you created content? Were you part of other creators' communities like playing Valorant or?
So I started content creation off of COD, like
Oh,
2019 Call of Duty is when I kind of started going into content creation. Um, I was a part of a few communities when it came to COD. Like my friend introduced me to this girls like Discord called Daddy's Angels or whatever. Joined that, met some girls off of that, and made some friends off of it. Moved into Valorant actually because the old PC that I had, it was a pre-built, would not handle COD anymore. And it was really frustrating. So I was like, well, I still want to be able to play a game. Never done mouse and key before ever in my life. But Valorant's a mouse and key game and it's a shooter game and I like shooter games. I like search and destroy, stuff like that. So I was like, all right, we're gonna try it. We're gonna give it a shot. So then and I'm really competitive. So I really was like, you know what? I like Valorant. I'm gonna keep playing it. It's my main game now.
that's interesting that you were a Call of Duty creator beforehand because I mean we'll talk about Respawn Recruits a little bit later, but with the group that we ended up with, I didn't know your roots were in Call of Duty, so our group was a lot heavier Call of Duty based than I even realized because
Yeah.
I knew Schmoog
Yeah.
and Ghost were really heavy into Call of Duty, but knowing that your roots were there too, that was actually a pretty stacked group to do a Call of Duty video. I don't even remember how the video turned out, but I'm sure it was with all of those people in there, we ended up getting something pretty cool done.
Well,
Um,
for
so at what I mean, was there a grind for Limitless, or was it pretty much as soon as you knew about them, they knew about you kind of thing? Was there any kind of like trying to get their attention?
there was definitely a way to get their attention. They weren't picking up any Valorant creators. I was the one exception. Um, I kept telling like because I ended up becoming friends with a lot of their content creators and whatever, and I kept saying like I want to join Limitless. I'm going to be a part of Limitless, and I just kept making it clear that I want to be in Limitless. And they ended up like vouching for me and stuff, and then I got added to their like recruits group chat and whatever, and I just kept staying on top of it and on top of it. And honestly, Respawn Recruits is probably what tipped it off because I was putting out a lot of content. I was doing a lot of things. My impressions were high. I
Mm-hmm.
was growing really fast. Um, So I think that's what got them to pick me up was they could see that I was like really consistent. They knew that I was highly like motivated to be in Limitless. Um, they noticed me. Um, Massive vouches from all their content creators like Toomey, Kim, Pika, Cole, Jooby Dooby Doo, like all them. They were like, yeah, get red, go get red. And eventually they were like, yeah, come join us.
That's awesome. So that kind of leads right into my next question then with when you believe Bigson noticed you. And I guess Respawn Recruits is a fair answer to that then, because I mean, at least for us two, I know for a fact that we were fucking posting everything during Respawn
Day.
Recruits.
Yeah.
We had some of the highest impressions out of that entire competition,
Oh,
and it was
absolutely.
100% noticeable.
Mhm.
So tell me about the onboarding process with Limitless. Obviously, Limitless is a much more of an established organization than a lot of these. The term I like to use is teams when they're not organized in a way that Limitless is. How has your experience been with them now being on the roster for just over a year?
Oh, it's been great. I came up with some things that I wanted to do, some ideas. They've been on top of things with their creators, their esports teams. They've got other things going on behind the scenes that they're working on. They're definitely building and growing and, like staying on top of their content creators to make sure they're doing what they need to do. They've got events that they like to do every month. They like their content creators to do something. They usually hold, which is pretty big, honestly. They hold a annual Valorant tournament. Um, and one of the content creators usually takes hold of the thing or whatever, and so does like the community managers and stuff. Pika does a lot of that stuff for us, and then another content creator will do it. Last year it was Kim. A couple years ago it was Toomey. So yeah, this year I'm trying to do it and kind of bring in a lot of like Valorant creators and stuff like that into this tournament and make it a certain way.
Awesome. I feel like with a lot of organizations, even more established organizations, there's a very big lead up. Um, I guess kind of like Respawn Recruits, but there's recruitment challenges for a lot of these organizations, and you see a lot of people really like step up to the plate and they grind their ass off and they're showing like the consistency and the numbers and everything that we're talking about. But then once they join the organization, they just either they plateau or they completely just fall off and they stop giving a shit. And through all of the research that I did on Limitless, especially for this mini game, I looked into quite a few of the members. I'm like, all of you guys clearly give a shit about Limitless. And I think that attributes massively to the success of the organization, because an organization can only do so much when the managers are the one, or like the top guys are the ones that are saying, hey, look at us. But when even
Yep.
like quote unquote the small guys, the content creators, the streamers, not people in the big positions, are preaching and preaching Limitless the way that you and so many others do, it really attributes to the fact that like, yeah, don't step up the Limitless. Like we are that
Yeah,
organization, you know what I mean? So
we definitely are. It's good to see that they don't just pick up anybody. They pick up people that are have love and dedication for content creating and streaming and then are dedicated to Limitless.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Awesome. Well, that reaches the end of the Limitless category unless you have anything that you want to touch on that we didn't touch there.
no, I
All
think
right.
that was it.
Well, Red, let's get into a mini game.
Ooh,
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I set up a whole little slideshow. It's going to be great. Who's Limitless? I'm going to go ahead and go like this. You can still see it if I go like this, right?
yep.
All right. We won't see your face during this portion because I have to full screen it in order to you not see the answers on the sidebar. But
You're
we'll still
good.
hear your voice, so it's fine. So,
Oh, I'm scared.
who's Limitless? So, like I said, we have 10 questions here. It's going to be 10 either staff or members of Limitless.
I'm
I
scared.
pulled their profile pictures from Twitter, and this is based off of both their their bios and the website, making sure that some people just didn't forget to remove it from their bio or whatever. Um,
Okay.
and it'll have both their name on Twitter and their @ on Twitter. So if you call them something that I didn't have, then I should hopefully know who you're talking about at
I'm
least.
so scared for this because I'm really bad with faces and names, and people are gonna be like, "You don't remember me?" And
Oh,
I'm gonna
come
be like,
on,
"Oh my
Red. You
god."
live and breathe Limitless. You got this. I believe in you.
I I'm scared. I got a lot
Well,
going on, man.
well, let's start off easy for you, all right? Let's go with who is this?
That's Big
That
Sin.
is Big Sin. That is owner of Limitless, Carl, or Big Sin TV. Beautiful. See, you're doing great. Does that take a little stress off? It's only, I mean, it's only gonna get
Nope,
harder.
I'm
It
so
probably
stressed.
shouldn't. Yeah, it's
It's going to stress me out.
it's as easy as it's gonna get for you, probably. All right, let's go into who is this?
That's Nate.
That is Nathan, GM of Limitless, or Five's Corner. Beautiful. You're doing great.
Throw
That's
up.
2 out of 10 already.
I'm gonna throw up.
You only got 5 more, and then you get a win. All right. Who is this? Red?
I told you I was gonna throw up. Is that Barbie?
Is it Barbie? Is that your final answer?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna have to be because I can't.
I don't know if you guys call him Barbie, but this is the content manager of Limitless, Aiden.
Rock. Ah.
All right, that's gonna be a strike there, but no tub of yellow snow on the line for this one, but you could still win and get a chance at a Respawn 110 giveaway for your community here. Let's go into the next one
Sorry,
here.
Rock.
It's all right. I'm sure he'll forgive you. It's fine. It's fine.
No.
Going to number 4 here. This is a familiar face for us. Who is this?
That's Sithy Poo.
That is Sith, the creative director of Limitless, Sith, or at possibly Sith. Also, our Respawn recruits. What is he? Partnership manager, community manager, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, literally.
Killing it. That's what he is. Killing it.
Killing it.
Let's go into number 5 here. Who is that?
That's Pika.
It's Pika, community manager of Limitless, Pika or Pikachu Bolt. 4 out of 10. You're doing pretty good. You only need 3 more. You have 5 questions left, and you have to get 3 more to win.
Rock's gonna kill me. Is what's gonna happen.
It's all right. He probably won't see this, right? It's fine. What if I post it on the timeline and tag him in it? Maybe
No.
All right, let's see. Who do we have next here? Who is this?
That's Matt.
That is esports director of Limitless, Matt, or Big and Tall Matt. You only need 2 more, Red. You're doing great. Unfortunately, we move off of the staff of Limitless now. I don't know if that makes it a little more difficult for you or not. Let's go into the next one. Who is this?
Mythros. Mythy Myth.
Streamer for Limitless Myth or Mythros. That was pretty easy for you. You got that pretty quick. You got 3 questions left.
Basic.
Just graduated basic?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Myth. You got 3 questions left. You only have to get 1 of them right. Are you still feeling the stress right now, or are you feeling a little more relieved?
I gotta hope that I get one wrong so Amaranth doesn't feel left out.
Well, this is a little bit more of a familiar face for both of us. Who is this?
Why can't I fucking say the name right now? I'm brain farting.
Oh no, Red.
I literally just talked to him the other day. What is wrong with me? Oh my god!
Oh, you got this.
Hello? No, I don't.
No?
I don't. I'm brain farting.
Oh no. I'll give you a 3-second countdown just to give you a little bit more time. 3, 2. It's
got an S. Biz. Yeah. There we go.
Content creator for Limitless, Biz or BizLog77, 777. I feel like she just threw that once so Amarok wouldn't get to it, but
No.
All right. You got 2 questions left. You have to get 1 of them right. All right. Pressure's on.
Okay.
Who is this?
I actually don't know
No?
this one. I don't.
This is a content creator for Limitless Cat, or apparently Cat.
I'm so sorry. I have not talked to her yet.
Ooh,
Don't know.
well, new person to possibly collab with in the future.
Yep.
All right. Well, now the pressure is on. You have
Yeah.
one question left, and you have to get it right here. Who is this?
I literally follow this person on TikTok and I can't think of the name.
Fellow
I see
respawn
his videos
recruit.
all the time.
Fellow respawn recruit.
Drop me. Why can't he's fellow Ginger himself? Why can't I get the? I can't get the. I don't.
Oh
I can't get the name.
no. Do you need a 3-second countdown? Are you gonna tap out?
I'm gonna tap out because the brain fart, brain dead.
Oh no. That's gonna be a content creator for Limitless Acorn,
Acorn.
or the
Yeah.
Masked Acorn. I also follow him on TikTok. He does post great
Yeah,
videos.
that's what I'm saying. Like I just can't put the faces to the names. I can't remember names.
Well, I I mean, there's gonna be another minigame.
Perfect.
It might fall into your category a little bit better, I guess. We'll see how the next one goes. But we can do a few more questions in between and see how things go. I, man, that was supposed to be the easy one. I don't know what to say now.
I know.
Well, all right. I guess the best thing we could say is questions. I'm not sure how impactful Respawn Recruits 23 was for you, but since speaking to you at the beginning, it sounds like it was pretty crazy. You got picked up to Limitless through it. I mean, your community was fucking massive during it. Like, you were easily one of the people that everyone thought was going to win Respawn Recruits 2023. Like, you were locked in. It was you and 9 other people. Before Recruits, I was pretty much strictly Call of Duty, and I never dreamed of pushing past my boundaries outside of like a scratchy attempt at this podcast before. I'm coming out of Recruits, trying new edit styles, made a ton of super close friends throughout the competition that I never would have met before, that I communicate with still 2 years later, well, a year later, almost 2 years later, daily. It was a pretty crazy competition and experience. Like, what did the experience mean for you?
I think like the experience was definitely just because I didn't take. I know it was a competition and everything, but I didn't necessarily make it about myself. As you could probably tell, a lot of my videos are definitely about other people in the community and everything, and that's what I've tried to make it out to be. Whether it was my downfall or not, I don't know, but it definitely meant lots of growth in the community, lots of growth in myself. Um, it definitely helped a lot for sure.
Push
We
you
did end up
outside of
getting a
your
person
comfort
anyway.
zone, or
Yeah,
yeah?
definitely. There was a lot of things I tried that I didn't think I would ever try before.
Can you give me an
Respawn
example?
Recruit.
Give us some examples.
Editing styles like using DaVinci for the very first time, not knowing what I was doing and learning like things like jigsaw transitions. That was so hard. I spent 4 hours on a jigsaw transition trying to learn off of a YouTube video. Still couldn't figure it out. And then I'm sitting in a Discord with a friend and I'm like still trying to figure it out. And then I see this little button switch thing and I'm like, wait, is it this? And it finally like does what I need it to do. And I'm like, I want to go to bed now. I was up until like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning.
Have you used things that you learned in Respawn Recruits since the competition?
Yeah, I've definitely, used some of those different things for editing. I still use DaVinci to this day. I branch out to other things like CapCut. I've used Adobe Effect. Um, I also that's the first thing I've ever used before too from Respawn Recruits. I still use that. Um, so from that I've, learned to do other things and use that now to this day.
Okay. Um, do you think some of the people that you've gotten like really close to, I know like Bam and Domo are two of the people that I personally think of first with how much you guys interact with each other on the timeline for sure. Do you think that you guys ever would have crossed paths if it wasn't for Respawn Recruits?
So I actually crossed paths with Bam before Respawn.
Oh,
I rated him on Kick because I really liked his camera border. And then next thing you know, I'm going through all like the recruits' names and I see Bam and I message him. I'm like, oh my God, we're in Respawn Recruits together. And that's how we ended up probably growing to like together, knowing each other better and stuff.
yeah, that's awesome. As far as like you mentioned that you didn't make it about yourself. I don't. I mean, I kind of thought that we both thought the same way on this. Maybe I'm kind of second guessing it now, but writing out this question, there was a lot of really big, like big size creators in that competition that got eliminated fairly early, to be honest. Some
Hmm.
that made it a lot further, but a lot of them got eliminated pretty early. A lot of the one person that a lot of people had their eyes on going late into the competition, like I mentioned, was yourself. I remember like damn near every single post that I saw you put out, I was personally comparing myself, which I'm not proud to say now because I don't like comparing with people, but I was like, fuck. Like, all right, Red and 9 other people. I gotta lock in one of those 9 other spots. I am massively competitive. So when I hear the word recruitment challenge, Respawn's recruit competition, like challenge, competition, those words like just light a fuse in my head. Like I made genuine friendships there, but at the end of the day, that was a competition to me. And I wanted that grand prize. Did you feel similarly or was it a different thing for you?
I mean, I definitely felt like I want to be able to win this. Like, I'm going to do my best. I want to win this, whatever. But like, part of me was like, I wouldn't be here because without like my community, I wouldn't be here without the support from my community, other recruits, other partners, stuff like that. And that's why I was including them a lot of my videos and stuff to make sure, like, hey, just so you know, I'm not them or I'm not me without them. Like, they've helped me, they support me, them. Look at them.
That's fair. Um okay. With that being said, you still wanted to get to the end of the competition, be one of those what we thought was 5 named partners at the end of the competition. I won't say any means necessary because I wouldn't be like, no, cut off Titan, keep me. Like that's not. I wouldn't go that far.
Poor Titan.
But like, you would do damn near anything to get to the end of that competition. Would that have been fair to say at that time?
Yes and no. Um,
Did you
I would
view
have
it
done
as a
a lot.
competition?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I was also like, this is gonna be a fair competition, and I'm not gonna step on people's toes to
Yes.
go through it.
Yeah.
I was very much I would rather be cut. This is why I did with my reflection video. I was like, I would rather be cut doing what I think is right and what's best than to show off these numbers and all of these things. Um, that a lot of other people were doing too, because you could see it. You could
Oh
see it
yeah.
in their videos. This is what I did. This is how many impressions I got. This is what blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, here's my community.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I did with mine too. It's as far as I remember. I didn't show numbers, I don't believe. I showed the actual things that I did, the styles that I went through. Definitely like the community that I had built. Probably nowhere near to the emphasis that you did because you were like preaching that shit. But I was showing how much I've grown as a creator, not so much like look how many numbers I gained as a
Yeah, I
creator.
did that. I
Yeah.
showed because I got a lot of partnerships during
Yep.
Respawn
So did
Recruits
I.
and
Yeah.
pickups. I got Limitless, I got AdvancedGG, Gamer Advantage, Cosmic Candles.
Yep.
Um, I think there was another one. No, I think that was it. There was like 4 different things. Got that, and then showed that off, showed off everyone that I was I also showed, like, the events that I did
Hmm.
with, like, pulling together people, like, collab-wise.
Yeah.
I also showed off, like, how I edited certain videos, whatever, as, like, this is something new to me that I've never done. And then just constantly being grateful.
Yeah. And that's arguably the right way to do it, considering who was kind of like in charge of the competition at that time. I think that's definitely what they were looking for. They definitely weren't like, show me how much bigger you got. Like that's not the kind of person of who was running the competition at that time. But I think you definitely played into who you are and were as a creator then, and I think it definitely shows who you are now, especially standing as a partner now. Can you look back at your elimination at, it was top 25, correct? Going into top 10?
Yep.
Can you look back at that and do you feel like it was a, I don't want to say rightful elimination, but do you think you placed where you deserved to place, or do you believe to this day you deserve that top 10 spot?
I don't like to use the word deserved. I think
Earned.
earned is a better term. I think that the things that I did shows what I earned, and I think a lot of the reactions after I got cut too
Yeah.
kind of betrayed, oh, maybe like she should have made it further, but life is life. I'm a partner now. It is what it
Right.
is.
That's what I mean.
um,
Something as a partner now, like looking back, like is there something you could have done better? Is there something you wish you would have done instead?
I'm sure there could have been things I could have done differently. Would I have done things differently? Nope.
Fair.
Nope. I did
Totally
what I
fair.
thought was right. I stayed humble the whole time.
Hmm.
I didn't boast about myself. I more so showed people off than anything. Not changing that. Nope, never
Fair.
gonna do that.
Totally respect that. Absolutely. As a competitor, like that's my inner nature. And like you mentioned a little bit earlier, like you're a competitor as well. You love challenges. You love competing, and like as people who can compete and still stay humble throughout the competition, that's something that I wish I could have changed about my recruits. Because a lot of my shit, like I collabed with a lot of people. I made a lot of fucking genuine friendships, but I just feel like I don't think I treated anyone poorly, but I definitely think I showed more attention to the people who were kind of within my inner circle, and I wish I could have changed that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that I think the only way that that could have opened up my eyes is the exact way that things went down. And that's things that, as we are as partners now, we can look back on. Like, top 10 getting disqualified, I was fucking shattered for like months. Like, even after I got
Yeah.
partnered afterwards, I was fucking shattered. Didn't put out any content, and I was just like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just smiling through the tears and shit. But genuinely, like, I don't think I could look back and see what I did wrong if that didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yep.
let's go to the next question here. Now, talking on the terms of competition, obviously, when you are playing a sport and you're looking at film of another team, you're probably picking out a couple people, whether it's like one on one who you're going to be going against, looking at some of the best players on the other team and seeing how do they play, certain like things that they do, give you certain like tips that you can cut off. As a competitor and someone who likes the competition aspect of challenges like recruits, who would you say was your biggest or some of your biggest competitors in recruits 2023, whether it was directly within your niche or just in the competition in whole, knowing there's 5 spots up and you think that this person has 1 spot locked in, as many people thought with you?
So I didn't really see that many people actually for Valorant during our year. If you think about it, there wasn't a lot of
Like
people who were
Brinks
like,
is the only one I know.
yeah, I think it was like Brinks was the only one, and he's grown immensely, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see his stuff all the time, and he's killing it. Um, but other than that, there was like really nobody. I was more, and I didn't even put it as like Valorant, like they're gonna pick up a Valorant person. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't my concern. It was more like who's putting out the the best and the most content, and showing up for things and whatever. Sith.
Yeah.
Sith. When he got cut, that
That was
was
another, yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was my base. Him, Cupcake. That one was like, what the? And then who else? There was one more. Joseph was one. Joseph was definitely one because he's been grinding for a while, and I see his stuff, and I'm like, he's definitely underrated. But there was another one, and I can't think of who this
I
person is.
think one that was kind of big for me that I thought was doing obvious other than Sith, because Sith was another big one outside of yourself,
Yeah.
but one that I thought was doing everything correctly and just staying in their own fucking lane and not bothering anybody, Kensei. I
Oh
thought
yeah,
Kensei was
Kensei.
doing like
Yeah, Kensei. Yep.
that one definitely
Yep.
surprised me.
That one surprised me a lot too. I met him, like, I started to get to know him at the very, very end. And it's funny because every single time they had us put down somebody, that person would get cut. And the one time I put Ken down, he got cut. And I'm like,
He was another Valorant
I'm
creator
chilling.
too, since he
Yeah.
similar niche. But yeah, he's definitely someone that I was like what? I was very surprised by it. Trying to think if there's, oh man, it just kind of sounds like an insult when I say I can't think of anyone else that really stood out, but
I know,
it's
it's brain
not.
fog. You can't
Yeah,
remember.
it was like a year ago, guys. You got to understand, like I've been through one where I've been on another side of the competition. Red's been through another competition since that point. Like everything is mixing together for us. There's a lot of people that I could just rapid fire off right now, but we don't got a lot of time. So,
Yeah.
talking about the Respawn Recruits competition in 2023, and then we can kind of dive into the invitationals. Did you participate in the invitationals, or were you one of the 10?
It was the 10. As soon as I got cut, I got picked up.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
forget what I said about competing.
Remember when I put that video out when I was like really sad?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm okay, guys, but it looked like I was crying still.
Oh.
I was still milking it.
Yeah,
I was definitely milking it.
I mean, it's after the fact now. I guess we could like when
I'll admit that I was milking that shit.
I mean,
and if we're like each other at all, I know that you probably were too. Yeah.
I mean, if we're just exposing it, I guess. I mean, yeah. When I put that video, I mean, I had the video ready. I posted it right when the 10th person was supposed to get announced, which everyone assumed was going to be me. I posted it right at that time. Like, I knew 12 hours beforehand that 10 partners were getting picked up and that I wasn't going to be one of them because of everything that happened. I had the video recorded and ready like 6 hours earlier. I ran it through Tyler. I ran it through everyone. I made sure that it was okay to post. And yeah, I milked the fuck out of those impressions. So I mean,
yeah, I milked the impressions too.
But I mean, that's what we're good at, you know what I mean? We're good at milk. I mean, it's been said a few times, like we milked the fuck out of that competition. We reaped the rewards during that time, and you know, you mentioned partnerships. We'll go through that in a little bit, but like I'm not ashamed to hide it. Like I snagged myself 4 partnerships through that too. That's just, you got to use Respawn Recruits as a tool to do more. You know, it does.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do right after it ends? You're gonna go back.
I'm pretty sure Tyler told us about that too. He said this is gonna be a tool to help you branch out to do other things.
Yeah. What I heard on repeat was use Respawn Recruits like literally as a job application. Like if you get cut, do not make yourself look bad. Companies are about to come to you. You just competed in the largest competition that is hosted by any company like out there right now. And I was like, okay. And like some people didn't take it to heart, and there's some people I know that got cut at like top 150 and they secured like 2 or 3 partnerships right after that. They used their momentum and kept going up, and they're doing fantastic right now. Brinks is someone we've already mentioned, so it's like he's doing great. What was the most memorable moment for you that came out of the Recruits 2023 season? Maybe other than Limitless, since we've already mentioned it a few times.
I think I want to say just learning like new things and just making new friends and growing that community, because that was like the big memory for me. And some of those friendships being like Bam and Domo for sure. Obviously rating Domo. I there's quite a few times I've rated people and then I'm like, okay, probably not gonna come back, might come back, who knows? And then whatever, but like getting to know Bam and then getting to know Domo and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, these are gonna be friends for life, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I feel like this is an easy answer for a lot of people, but if you could elaborate on it, do you feel like you came out of Recruits 2023 a better creator?
For sure. Absolutely.
Is there anything
That
outside
drove
of...
me
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
that drove me to do a lot of things that I do now and made me think a certain way in a different way that made me a creator, a full-time creator.
Yeah. I think the thinking differently is the big part that maybe a lot of people missed on, that cut earlier and they didn't know why. They didn't want to expand the way that they thought about things. And going into Respawn Recruits 2025, hopefully this will be posted before it even starts. That's the biggest thing that I would really encourage you guys to do is like everything is face value. There is no hidden like meanings to the challenges or anything like that. But if you're doing the same things that we've always seen you do, you're going to get the same results that you've always gotten. You
Yep.
need to step outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Do you have anything to expand on to the recruits for 2025 that we haven't really touched on at all that might be valuable for them?
No, just a little advice, just remember you're posting, you're on top of stuff and you're being yourself and you're not being somebody that you feel, for a better term, disgusted with,
Yeah.
you know?
Um, the best advice that I can give from personal experience is to 100% stay humble. Um,
Mhm.
as soon as you start getting an ego on you, you're gonna get fucking sideswiped. Um, don't feel like you're doing everything right. Like you always have to be uncomfortable. That's the biggest thing I learned from Respawn Recruits is
Yep.
always be uncomfortable, always try something new. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Like when we say try something new, it doesn't mean it can mean do a new game, but realistically, like do a whole new style. Go touch some fucking grass. Like step outside, dude.
On
Like,
top of, like, take lead of stuff.
yeah,
Don't be a follower, be a leader. Take lead of stuff because they notice when you create events, they notice when you gather a group of people and do stuff with them. They notice those things.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, that is a pretty solid section on Respawn Recruits. I originally was going to do a mini game on Respawn Recruits. I felt it was, if I'm being honest, way too easy. So I skipped that. And we're going to dial back into a little bit of what you do as your content. So you've been a Valorant creator for what, going on almost 2 years now? Like basically
Yep.
2023, you said?
Yep.
Have you really delved into anything other than Valorant in that time?
Yeah, sometimes I'll, go into DBD. I'll go into party games every once in a while. I've been diving into more IRL content, um, which has been great. It's been different and it's definitely helped a lot, especially being on Kick, because they do like the IRL content. So I've definitely stepped out of my comfort zone and I haven't been as deep into Valorant as I would like to in the last like couple of months. Because I used to do things like Valorant Outreach. I had a 1v1 thing going on. Uh, and I haven't been able to do those things or whatever because I've been branching out and doing other stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, would you classify yourself basically full-time streamer? Do you post content on any
Um,
regular schedule at all, or...
I used to, but after the last like couple months, I haven't been able to as much. But I still do stream quite often, almost every day. So I would say full time streamer, not quite full on content creator.
Fair enough. And
Yeah.
you're full-time as streamer.
Yep.
Fair enough. We'll talk a little bit more about Kick later as we get into partnerships and all of your recent accomplishments. But as a main game Valorant creator, I thought a pretty easy mini game for me to set up could revolve around Valorant. So This is going to be your second mini game. Let's see how you do on this one. You play this game almost every day. I'm expecting 100% score. I'm not going to lie to you.
I hope I give 100%, because if not, then it just shows that I have little brain cells right now.
So I went through a few different ideas of what could we do to possibly stump Red for a mini game. I was like, I mean, just showing her the characters or like skins, like that's all gonna be pretty easy. I thought, what if we did like gunshots and she had to guess what sound it is? I'm like, man, I played Valorant maybe like 20 hours and I could probably get that. That'll be even too easy for her, I'm sure. So I thought about, every time you spawn into the map, one of your agents has a quote line. And it chooses from about 3 to like 7 quote lines depending on what agent you have.
God.
So let's see how good you are at Valorant quote lines.
Oh God.
So I'm gonna go ahead and
Is there a sound to it too?
Nope. I'm gonna read it out to you.
Shit.
No, no, I'm not letting you hear their voice. Don't worry.
Damn.
We got 10 questions here. Some of them are going to be blatantly obvious that I would know, and I don't play Valorant. Some of them could be confused between a few, which was intentional. But let's see how you do here. So, who said it? Valorant character quotes. Let's go ahead and go into the first one. We got my 4 friends, then 5 of us. That's 9. Man, we're stacked.
Oh, that's Gecko.
That was pretty easy, right? Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
All right. Who will they cry for once they know they're going to die?
Is that Fade?
Fade? I don't know who Fade is, but that was Omen.
Oh, it's Omen. I literally said, I was like, it's Omen. And I was like, no, it's not Omen. It's Fade.
All right. We're 1 for 2. We got, I would say, probably 3 or 4 more easy
questions. Omen, brother. That's so sad.
I put Omen towards the start because I knew that Omen was one of your mains, and I thought you... it happens. It happens. All right, let's go to the next one here. Paint, check. Charges, check. Breaks, haha, nowhere in sight.
KJ. No. Raise.
That was a good save there. That was a good save. That is Raise. I was like, Paint? KJ?
Yep. No. Yeah.
All right.
Nope, saved it. We're good.
She's trying to quick fire him off here. She's trying to prove she knows her Valorant here. Let's go into number 4. Okay, last looks. You all look wonderful. Me, I always look good. We are ready.
Chamber.
It's, pretty easy. He's classy, dresses pretty classy, stays classy. Pretty simple. Let's go into a little more of a difficult one that I wouldn't get at least. Maybe you. We'll see. They could throw the whole playbook at us. I've seen it all before.
Deadlock.
Deadlock? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
It's actually going to be Brimstone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that voice line before.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't try to pick some obvious ones. 3 of his voice lines all have his alt in the voice line. So I was like, maybe not.
Oh, do they? Oh, yeah, you're right.
All right, let's go number 6 here. I believe this is also what I would consider one of your mains based on what I've seen you play. So I got your backs, just, from the front.
That's Jet.
That is Jet. Is it fair to say Jet is one of your mains?
No, she's not. I'm a smoke main, but I do play her a lot. And
I see you playing her.
As soon as I read that, I was like, I just could hear her voice.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's go into number 7. Owner of these ones will beg. They all do after a while.
Viper?
It is Viper. You are quick firing these.
That's my girl.
All right. You are 5 for 7 right now. You get all 3 of these correct to pass this quiz. You ready?
Oh, no.
All right. Number 8. Stand tall. We are Valorant. We are fighters.
That's Sage.
Yeah. Nah, I figured that was probably the most obvious voice line in the entire game. All right. We'll just move on from that one. You're all obsessed with teamwork, so I'll try it, but just this once.
Okay, that's Deadlock.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
It's actually Yoru,
Really?
unfortunately. All right. We got
I
one
don't think I've heard
question
that one
left.
either.
Really?
Yeah.
Yoru did have like I think 7 or 8 voice lines. So
That is
some of them
many.
maybe I have no idea. They were all being obsessed with himself. So um but we'll go ahead and go into the last question of the last mini game here. Let's see if you know what this one is. Don't worry, team. If you die, I have your memories backed up at base. Just kidding, just kidding. Or am I?
That's KO.
KO?
Yeah. No. That's Cypher.
Cypher? Final answer?
Yeah.
Oh, you were so close. It's
Was I?
KJ.
Ah, fuck. I was like, that's a Sentinel line, but whose Sentinel is that?
Well, maybe I made the quizzes too difficult. I need to revisit this later
No,
on.
I got no brain cells.
Did the
That's the
quizzes
excuse I'm using.
feel fair after seeing the answers?
Yeah, they're fair.
Okay, fair enough
Yeah.
then. Okay, so we have a few more topics to touch on here. We'll try and get these questions kicked out a little bit faster since we have nothing else in between. We've already touched on a good amount of this, but we'll go through it pretty quickly. So, the next category we're going to touch in on is your partnerships. We've talked about some of your accomplishments already, locking in on partnerships through Respawn Recruits and a bunch of other things. You have got a pretty impressive resume when it comes to partnerships, being under a pretty notable team, being part of the Kick Creator Incentive Program. You have quite a bit built up for yourself. So, as blatantly as you could put it, while still saying humble, what particularly about RedHeadVixen gets so many sponsors and companies interested in you?
So I think it's purely just like my consistency and my dedication to everything and my energy probably. Um a lot of these partnerships that I'm with now have reached out to me, but the couple that I've had, I have reached out to, I've shot my shot with. Um I've made sure that my things like my email is articulate, but not too long. I've always included my media kit. I've included my contact, and I just followed up and showed up pretty much for that, so that they can see like, oh yeah, she's trying, she's caring, she wants this.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So, as far as companies that you've reached out to and reached out to you, do you kind of have like a rule? This is more for the people at home that really haven't gotten any sponsorships for themselves because they don't know the first steps. Do you have a rule for yourself on what companies should reach out to you and what companies you should reach out to?
Necessarily have a rule for that. I mean, if I feel like there's a company that won't reach out to me, then I'll reach out to them. Or I feel like if I like a certain company that's not super like common, like AdvancedGG is one of them, Freshen Up, G Fuel, they're very like probably gonna reach out to you, very everyone's a part of them kind of thing. Um, for example, Wooting. I'll use Wooting as an example. Not a lot of people are with Wooting. They're not going to reach out to you for a partnership. So I shot my shot because I love their keyboards. I have one. It's great. It's probably one of the biggest competitors for other keyboards. You're not going to find anything better than Wooting. Shot my shot with them. They took me.
Do you feel like companies like Wooting, it's trying to figure out the correct way to phrase this because I don't have it written down. Do you feel like a lot of people aren't partnered with them because a lot of people see that they don't have many partners, so they're more like afraid, I guess is the right phrasing I could use. They're
I
more
feel like
nervous.
that's one. It's also, again, not a type of company that just goes out and offers these things. They don't super promo. Like, these keyboards are meant for like pro play. They're expensive. You see the pro players playing with these. Um, I mean, it's less than 1 millisecond analog input on a key.
Mm-hmm.
You tap it, you will raise it, and you're already typing. Um, so it's very hard to get a keyboard like that unless you pre-order it or something like that. And then obviously like getting a partnership, because they're not going to be like, hey, we want to pick up these people, we want to pick up these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not very like that. You definitely have to shoot your shot with them to get it.
For sure. I mean, that all makes sense. As far as for the creators at home that are under, let's say, like a 10,000 combined following mark, just to generalize a lot of people, what would you say is the benefit of companies working with someone like that? Because a lot of people who might have a lot of following on like Twitch, but their numbers on like Twitter and YouTube are like nothing, feel like they don't have any value to companies, so they just won't reach out to them at all. What is the value of a creator under 10,000 followers?
I think that value opens up a lot of doors for you for other companies, other people. Like, stuff like this could bring me towards, like, I don't know, a pro player in Valorant that like tens for example, like, oh my god, I could maybe one day meet tens because of this, like stuff like that. But it's the fact that, and I've noticed this a lot with people lately, they're too scared to reach out to these companies, or they're too scared to even reach out for a collab. And that's the kind of things you cannot be scared to do. If they tell you no, it's a no. You try again. The worst they can say is no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That's like the biggest thing is the worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Kick Creator Incentive Program. You recently got into that. It's a pretty big fucking deal. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So for the people at home that aren't aware of what the Creator Incentive Program is, you get paid. Is it hourly to stream? You stream a certain amount of hours and you get paid, that kind of thing?
Kinda. There's a lot that plays into it with like views and chatters. If you don't get a lot of chatters in your chat or whatever while you're holding like views, that's why a lot of people call out the bots on Kick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then yeah, you're probably not going to make a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're holding genuine numbers and people are talking and not just spamming emotes, because we know I hate that too, then you'll probably make a decent amount off of it. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily hourly, because there's a lot that plays into it.
Is what you earn from the Creator Incentive Program, we'll say, like, you can either talk about your specific numbers or what you believe, like, the general amount from the Creator Incentive Program across the creators. Is it a livable wage without your subscribers and everything else?
I would not call it livable. No.
Okay.
From my size, like a mid to small streamer, I would not call it livable. I also have a lot of lurkers. Like, a lot of people lurk in my chat. They'll comment, like, I will have random people just like, I think you've done it before
Oh,
too.
I
Like, I'll just
absolutely
be
do.
saying something and then you'll be like, what the fuck, out of random.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that do it out of nowhere. Um, and that's fine. I don't mind the lurkers. It's fine. It doesn't bother me none. But it's definitely not going to be livable for somebody who's like me.
That's fair. Um, so is it fair to call the Kick Creator Incentive Program kind of like a bonus to the streamers who have put the work in and shown dedication to Kick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you are dedicated to it, you fully grind, you put yourself out there, people get to know you, stuff like that, like a Whittle Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Fair enough. Cool. Now back to the companies that you work or have worked with, past or present. Which company would you say, no matter how you went about it, whether it was through like a recruits competition grind or anything like that, what is your proudest accomplishment for companies that you have worked/worked with?
I think that hmm, my proudest accomplishment. uh, I think there's so much. There's so much that I've done in the last year. Um, Obviously, like getting those partnerships or whatever that that I love and want, and getting the KCIP. I think just like being noticed by like kick staff and getting noticed by people like Eddie and Santa Maria, like everything is just super amazing because little me never thought that I would be like this. So to even already be a KCIP partner is insane to me. Never thought that would happen.
That's fair. I mean, I would argue that a lot of people that I don't want to say like solely stream to kick, but like a lot of people who are focusing streaming, I would say KCIP is probably their biggest goal. I don't know if there's a lot
Yeah.
of people that set out like I'm gonna grind for this company and only this company until they notice me. It's it doesn't really happen that way a lot of the times. But
Yeah.
with KCIP, that's something that I personally know people have been grinding for since it was announced. So it's
Hmm.
all right, let's talk about creator events. I would say you've been to a fair amount over the years.
I've been to a couple, yeah.
Yeah. So for the creators like myself out there, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to put us in a scenario of putting us at a creator event. When you're walking through, tell us about the sounds you see. Give us the five senses of being at a creator event.
Well, the first year I didn't even go as a creator. I went just as like a 3-day pass just to kind of get an idea if I would like it or not. Because sometimes I don't like social settings that much. So I was like, we'll see. Definitely being a creator has helped with my social anxiety and everything. So that's pretty cool. But when you walk into that event, you got your badge, you're through that crowd. You go in and the first thing you do is you'll probably smell or see stuff or whatever. I smelled food, clothes, and technology as soon as I walk in. I'm like, "Yep, this is the smell of DreamHack." Um, Great smells, by the way. You walk in. The first thing I saw this past year when you walk in was the kick booth. That's the first thing you see. Um, you see like a Lego section. It was a lot bigger this year in Atlanta than it was last year. Um, you see all of your friends just hanging out right there by the entrance. You're so excited. And then, like, the first thing what I wanted to do anyway was go to the creator hub and, see if any of my friends are there, say hi or whatever, kind of go do my thing. But yeah, it can be overwhelming. You can be nervous the first time. I was definitely nervous the first time, but then, like, the second time I was like really confident. I was excited. Um, I knew more people, a lot of people knew me, and it was a lot more fun going the second time because I was like, yeah, I get to just, see all my friends and do all these creator things and here's my business card and meet new people and it was fun. I had a good time.
Is there anything going back to your first time that you wish you would have been more prepared for?
I wish I had been more prepared as in signing up for a creator. I wish I had been a part of that. Because there was quite a few people that did not go this last year that went the year before that.
Mhm.
I wish I had been a creator.
Fair
So I could have
enough.
been like, hey.
Um, is there anything else revolving around just like partnerships or like Kick in general as a kind of a representative of Kick now with everything that you've accomplished with them that you want to touch on before we move to, I guess, the main focus of the podcast?
Well, you know how I am about calling out people when they do certain things that they need to stop doing. I
Okay.
know that there's a lot of people on Twitter who like to complain about how they didn't get something and they got denied for this and yada yada yada, but you don't see them try to do anything for, the kick community whatsoever. But I got mine based off of the fact that I did a lot for the kick community and I grinded my ass off to make sure I included everyone and made sure that it was growing on Kick.
Yeah.
So if you want it enough, you will pull out the events, you'll do something different, you'll pull in a community and involve other people, but don't do it based off of just yourself.
Yeah.
You
I'll,
know, kind of like how Respawn Recruits was. Don't be selfish. Include other people. Get to know other people. Be a leader,
it's crazy
not
how
a
those
follower.
things go like right together. It's crazy
It's
how
yeah, it's weird.
I'm a piggyback right off of that, and like I see a lot of people. I mean, not to bring Twitch and Kick up in the same conversation, but I see a lot of people applying and getting denied the partnership with Twitch, and then I see them dragging that shit through the fucking dirt. Like, man, fuck Twitch. I'm
Might
going
be
to Kick.
milking
Blah
it.
blah
They might
blah.
be
Like,
milking it too, like we
they
did. Who
they.
knows?
I mean, completely fair enough. But then they're applying for that shit 2 weeks later and expecting to get a different fucking result after they just slandered
Yeah,
the fuck out of Twitch. And I'm like, all right, man. Like you gotta
do
be
something.
humble.
Be humble,
Don't
do
be an
something, you get
asshole.
denied.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the moment you blast the platform, like that's just a bad look. I don't know.
Right.
You never ever once saw me blasting Kick for not getting something. Like everyone was complaining about Drake not giving them subs. First of all, Drake
Oh
was
yeah,
not
dude.
giving out subs. It was the staff.
Yeah.
Second of all, um, it's like I don't know, just like be humble, be quiet. They will come to you. Don't be so down in the dumps. It'll be your turn, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep trying,
It'll be
keep
your turn
grinding.
as long as you actually like apply yourself. You can't do the
Exactly.
same thing you've always done and expect different results. You gotta
Yep.
you gotta be better. Like I don't know how else
Hmm.
to put it, but like
Yeah, exactly.
step outside of your
Can't
comfort
do
zone.
better.
Host Valorant community nights. You know what I mean? Like do
Literally.
like you gotta be a face in order to be seen.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
cool. Well, that covers a whole lot about you as RedheadVixen, but let's find out a lot more about you on a personal level because the Brain Freeze podcast has and always will be a mental health focused podcast. We've talked a lot of topics such as women in gaming, being disabled, overcoming drug addiction, a lot of different things, facing transphobia and homophobia. And I think it's very important to focus on specific topics of mental health, but also just touch in with the mental health of individuals that maybe don't fall under a certain category because not everyone is a special case. Majority of mental health crisis is the general population of people. And while everyone will focus on content creators in this podcast, at least this season, I want to get a lot more general. So we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. As comfortable as you are, we'll cut out anything that you aren't comfortable with answering, or if anything gets too deep, feel free to just say that you aren't comfortable answering anything like that. But I do have a few questions that you have read out pretty much everything and approved that it is okay. So we'll just run through these and we'll go from there. So the first thing we're going to touch on is, does your family approve of your content creation as a passion of yours?
They're not really involved in that. They don't say much about it. They're just glad that it like makes me happy or whatever, and that I'm able to do what I love. But they're not like too deep into it, you know?
Okay. Is it something that comes up kind of like around like maybe family holidays or events or anything like that? Or it's like, I don't know, even the side comments like, oh, Caden, are you still doing that online, blah, blah, blah? And like just the way they say it, it's kind of like they want to be supportive, but
Really
like,
ask about it. They don't usually ask about it. I mean,
okay,
my brother's asked about it before, I guess. He's been like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "It's good. I'm doing good." I'll tell him like my accomplishments. He's like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's great." But that's
good,
really it.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, for you, when you I guess started in, we'll say 2023, when you started getting, is that fair to say that you started getting more serious about it in
Yeah,
2023 at least?
that's when I took it seriously, yeah.
Okay. So, what role does content creation play for you in your life? Did it start off like you knew, like, I'm going to do this for money? Or was it like,
It was like a my friends kind of encouraged me like to dream more. Like I met a friend back in Germany when I lived over there, and she introduced me to like that little girls Discord. Um and they were all encouraging me to stream for once and try it. They're like, "You would be really good, you're really funny, you're really nice." So I tried it, and but what really got me into it starting as of 2023 was like I could make this like a career if I really apply myself and like dedicate my content and my streams and stuff like that to what I need them to be.
yeah, for sure. So, is there, hmm, I'm trying to figure out the correct way to word this because I don't want to just assume that everyone has something going on with their lives. For example, content creation, when I started taking it very seriously, especially during Respawn Recruits, played the role of a distraction in my life to not focus
Yeah.
on the absolute horseshit that was going on with everything involving like my family and everything else. Does it play any sort of role like that for you? Like, I know you've been the center of a hot seat on Twitter once or twice just in the year that I've known you. Does content
Yeah.
creation and streaming help you distract yourself?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that it does for me. Like it's a distraction. It feeds a lot into my social happiness. Like there's a lot of times I just don't want to go out and do something, but I want to hang out with my friends. I love my friends. They have my back. Um, I trust the people I surround myself with. It feeds my interests. I've always loved playing video games, and I've found more interest in like creating content, especially after Respawn Recruits. I was like, wow, making videos and editing these things is really, really cool. And all of it kind of helped set what I wanted to do while being able to be a full-time mom. Um, like being able to give my kid the attention that he wants and needs throughout the day, and then be able to set my own schedule for streaming. And when was asleep, I can go and stream and I can edit videos and I can do what I want. And then wake up the next day and be able to be a mom again and stuff like that. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, that awesome. As far as being a parent and being a content creator, how is that, like, I guess, work life balance work for you? Are you able to properly allocate that time? How does it work when you go on your trips to um all your creator events, kick con? I don't know what it's called.
Con. The first year that we went to like DreamHack, my mom came down. We celebrated Christmas with her, and then she stayed and watched the kiddo while we were gone for the weekend. And then this last year, obviously like my kiddo stayed back and with the dad, and I got to go and do my little content creation thing and be able to network and meet
Put
my
your focus
friends.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
It,
enough.
it's like a job. It's like a job to me because I make it full time. I'm like, this is a job. I take this very
Yeah.
seriously, very professionally. Like this is my job.
Yeah, and you're able to, I feel like with a lot of people that go to these events, I see pretty frequently on the timeline, like, oh, I'm so glad I got to meet all these people here. Next year I got to dot 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 focus on content, basically. Are
Mhm.
you able to separate the time of like, okay, this is the time where I have to network with like potential companies that are here, potential like people that I need to collaborate with in the future to reach a new height in 2025, separate that from the fun of like, I'm gonna go hang out with the people that I know, and like, you know what I mean? Is there,
Yeah, I usually try to apply that together with like the people that I know and I whatever with like things that I might be doing to like create content and network and stuff like that. Um at the same time. I try to put those together to make it simpler, and then like when I feel like I need to take a break, I'll go eat with some people or whatever.
gotcha.
So,
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit, if you're comfortable about it, with your disability and the struggles that it's given you through your time as a content creator.
Oh, my RCD?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have RCD, which is reading comprehension disorder, and I have a very hard time when I'm reading my chat sometimes, being able to comprehend what somebody says. So sometimes you'll see me just stare at my chat and I'll be like, what? Or I'll just stare at it and try to reread it over and over again until I can finally answer what they're trying to say. It can be hard, but I think I manage it pretty well, and
Yeah.
I've been told a lot of the time that I handle it pretty well because I do talk to my chat a lot,
Yeah.
but it sometimes it can be certain days it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I would say you're definitely one of the most interactive people that I've seen as far as with your chat. And I think over the year that I've kind of been like sporadically in your chats, because I'm not always up in there, but I send some pretty long messages pretty
Yeah, I'm
frequently.
like, I'm gonna read
Yeah,
it.
there's a few times that I've seen you like caught off guard. And I'm like, okay, wait, I need to like break this down a little bit.
Yeah, or then I'll be like, "Yep, can one of you message me this?"
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna forget, or I just can't understand what I'm reading right now.
yeah. Would you say that it's been a roadblock for you, or is it just something that's kind of like just a little quirk of like being in a RedHeadVixen stream?
I it can be both. I feel like sometimes when things like that happen, think back on it. I'm like, oh, did I? I'll go in my chat later and I'll be like, did I answer this person? Did they say
Mm,
anything after? It always like in my head, I'm like, oh man, I definitely messed up somewhere. But then I realize like I haven't, or like I try not to push people away when they're trying to say something in chat that they want to talk about. While also when I'm playing my games, talk to the people that I'm talking to, and then do what I need to do all at the same time. So I sometimes I think that it maybe can play like a little bit of a downfall, but then I'm like, no, we're good. I'm just being a little silly, little quirk.
yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay, we'll go into a little heavier of the questions, I guess. What is a comment in a stream or on a video or on the timeline or anything that you have received that you just like carry with you that's kind of transformed you into who you are now?
There's been a couple. I've made videos about this. There was a time when somebody was talking poorly to my friend Core, and then Core was like telling them to just degrade me pretty much in the chat on the other team. And so they said that I suck or something, and then next thing you know, I just like one tapped them in the head, and they said something funny in the chat, whatever. Um, and then there was another time, and this video went a little crazy on Twitter where there was a group of Twitch streamers that we were going against. I was with a couple of my friends, B, Thickles, Kate, I think our friend T, as well. We were all just playing, and they were trying to a couple of them died. We were trying to like figure out what we were gonna do, and it looked like I was hacking a little bit, but I was just trying to play off of sound and like game sense. I'm like, somebody's gonna flank. I can hear somebody running through trees, stuff like that. So one of them was asking me like, "Are we gonna rotate? Can I give you spike? Like, what are we doing?" And I was like, "Nope, we're gonna wait for flank." And next thing you know, someone comes out from flank, and then I kill a couple other people, and then I bait my teammate behind me so that I can go into sight and then kill the person who's shooting her. And then they were talking about me, like poorly about me in their streams, and I am the type of person who will go in and listen to hear what they say. And they were talking about how I was hacking, I was cheating, and then I was like, I'm not, and you can follow me on Kick because I'm streaming right now. And they came to me and they're like, yeah, she's view botting as I have like 30 to 40 viewers. She's botting, she's view botting. People are talking in my chat, and I'm like, so I made that a video and I put it on Twitter, and you just see piles and piles of people going like, "What is going on?" And then they tagged those streamers in my
Hmm.
comments, and I will never forget it. I thought that was so funny. I was like, "Not hacking, not view botting. You did this to yourself."
That's fair. Is
Yeah.
there anything in the category of kind of like maybe away from game set. Like, okay, I'll give you an example of one of mine that I carry with me that kind of redefined. I mean, I literally changed my appearance based off one of the comments that I got. I used to post Minecraft pretty heavily, like through respawn recruits, and I
Mhm.
was getting 10 to 15 thousands of views on some of my YouTube shorts. And I went through my hundreds of comments on one of these videos, just a quick 20-second little thing. And one comment, I had like maybe 4 negative comments, but I had one comment that I read out, and it was like, look at this 25-year-old neckbeard playing Minecraft. And I'm like, God, 25-year-old fat ass neckbeard, just something like that. I'm like, cut my hair, shaved my face, like everything the next
You
day.
did do that. That was
Yeah.
during Respawn Recruits, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the
I
reason why.
remember you
I
put
was
that.
like, it was just something that hit me. I was like, yeah, I mean, I should fix this. Like, but have you had any
Yeah.
of those experiences that?
Yeah. There's a clip on my YouTube. YouTube people are mean, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah,
That's crazy that you said they're mean. TikTok people are nice. YouTube people are mean. Um, so I put up a clip and I didn't even realize it was during the other team's saving, but I had a bulldog and I ended up acing and I was really excited. You know how my energy is. I get really loud and excited or whatever. And my friend Toomey was also really excited. It was during a Val outreach. And I posted that clip and people on YouTube came for my throat and they ended up doing some stalking and they're like your husband's cheating on like just the craziest shit. Yeah. Um it was bad. It was bad. They were attacking necessarily or not necessarily but pretty much like my family and all because I was excited about making an ace with a bulldog and they were saving on the other team.
Does it make you want to turn your comments off if you start consistently posting on YouTube again, or is it one of those things where it's like, past is the past, fuck you guys, like I'm gonna keep posting
Yeah.
my aces?
Oh, yeah, I definitely posted more after that where I got another accusation and then somebody was like, yeah, someone said that there was something glitching on my crosshair that I'm cheating. And then you saw other people go in the comments that are like, she's not cheating. It's just the graphics. These graphics are good though. She's not
Yeah,
cheating. Like stuff like that. Um, so like sometimes I want to just be like, hi, maybe I shouldn't post on YouTube, but I'm like, you know what? I have people coming to bat for me to tell these people to just like fuck off,
yeah,
go away.
yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. This one's a little broader, I guess, but if you can really narrow in on what is your biggest regret as a content creator.
Oh. We're going back into the when you call people out, it's RedHeadVixen. My biggest regret, remember when I told you that I went into content creation around 2020
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of took a break around, I think I
Oh,
took a break around like 2022.
okay.
Um, I took a break because I was so committed to this one content creator and his community and honestly would make us feel bad if we went and did our own streams or whatever, so I didn't really stream as much or I didn't go to his community events whatever near the end. And because I started streaming again and not showing up to as many community events and stuff like that, I got dropped. Also, I was getting dragged into drama, so I got dropped from the Discord in the community.
All right, everyone say it together.
So
Call him out. No, I'm just playing.
So, biggest advice I can give, do not drop something you love to do because you want to be a part of somebody else and somebody else's community. Don't do it.
Would you say that you came back with a bigger passion for content after taking that break?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he kind of dug his own hole. A lot of the people that didn't come with me that I brought to him, like my community, and stayed with him, later found out how he was, and they felt bad, and they reached out and they were apologizing, and they talked to me again and whatever. So that's fine. not a big deal. We're adults, yada
Yeah.
yada.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had a similar situation to that. I can definitely resonate with that. So maybe a big regret that you stopped content creation, but ended up being one of the biggest pluses because I don't think you would have been nearly as passionate as you are right now about everything that you've.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's honestly the biggest plus about regrets is because you have to make mistakes in order to learn from them. So it's
Exactly.
yeah. So let's go into the next question here. What weight does it carry for you, knowing that, especially with the size that you are and how loyal your community is, that you are almost certainly somebody's favorite content creator to watch?
It's insane to think that I am somebody's, like, favorite. I never thought I would be somebody's favorite, but to be somebody's favorite is already, like, it just makes me happy, like, knowing that people are happy coming into streams and it makes their day. The wait, though, if I were to just quit streaming or maybe stream, like, 2 to 3 times a week, that would break my heart knowing that, like, oh, they were really, like, looking forward to my streams and I'm not streaming anymore. Dang, you know?
Do
So,
you
like, it's a
go ahead?
big weight. It's
Yeah,
a big weight.
yeah. Do you receive those DMs or comments in stream like, "Oh, I've been looking forward to this all day. Like, you're my favorite." Do you get the DMs like, "You're my favorite creator. Thank you so
I
much."
get a lot of, like, DMs that, like, "Oh, I've been looking forward to you streaming today," or, like, "I'm glad you're back from, like, your vacation," or
Hmm.
something like that, like, I've missed you," or, like, they'll be, like, sad, like, "Oh, you had to cancel stream today. I was really looking forward to it. Oh, you're ending early. I'm sorry if like, I really wanted to talk to you. Like, I'm feeling down. I was really looking forward to your streams." Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, "Oh, I can't quit streaming."
And knowing who you are, I assume you reply to almost every single one of those. As
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to take
Yeah.
up like 80% of the time that you're active at your computer as it is. Um, let's take it a step further and see how heavy it gets. I guess with, I mean, even as small as I was at the most active that I had been in streaming, I would average maybe 20 on Twitch, and I received DMs of your stream saved my life. And I would get
Yep.
these long messages, and I would take the time to read every single word of that at least 2 or 3 times before replying. I don't even
Mhm.
have to ask. I know that you received those. What kind of, like, does that add additional weight and pressure knowing that it could lead to something bigger if you, like you said, quit streaming?
Yeah, I think I don't know, honestly, like, ugh, yeah, I don't know.
What
It's
is
very
the
much
emotion that you feel when you were like when you read those DMs?
it makes me sad hearing those things, like, I'm like, "Oh, man, like, no, please,
No, please.
don't put it on me, cause
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's a
I
valid
got some stuff
emotion.
going on too,
Right,
like, I don't need the pressure."
right. Like you want,
It's
it's almost
sweet,
you want to
but,
empathize, and it's like
mhm,
you're flattered because you're the person, right? But it's like, bro, I got my own shit to deal with. Like, don't put
yeah.
that extra pressure on us. You know what I mean? Don't.
Yeah, it's very like, I know that they're reaching out, they're looking for someone to confide in, and that's fine.
Mhm,
I get it, but maybe instead of, like, trauma dumping and everything like that on somebody, you have a genuine conversation first, you know?
mhm,
I learned that a lot in, like, school and stuff too, like, my friends one day, like, up and, like, stopped talking to me for once because they thought I was, like, being too selfish and not, like, really talking to them or wanting to do, like, things with them or get to know what's going on in their life, and I'm very much a, like, reach out, like, "Hey, how are you doing today? I just wanna check on you, blah, 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 blah," and then kinda go in from that, like, you know what I mean? Branch out
yeah,
to other things.
yeah,
They'll ask me the same thing, like, "Am I doing okay today?" You know?
yeah. Absolutely.
It's just very hard to, like, sometimes I don't know what to do or say when people do those things or like say those things, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm here for you. I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can give you any advice. I feel like they're seeking advice or whatever,
Yeah,
and
they're
I'm just like,
seeking advice.
I don't know what to say.
Well, everyone's situation is so unique, and you should, as blunt as it is, I'm a blunt person, and I keep it respectful and professional, and I say like, I appreciate you coming to me, but respectfully, you should go to someone who gets paid to do this professionally, because I'm not going to
Mhm.
give you the answer that you want to hear.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Like, I don't wanna give you the wrong answer. I don't wanna, like, hurt your feelings. I don't wanna give the wrong advice. Like, I can't it can't be me.
yeah.
I'll listen to you. Like, I'll listen to your problems. Like, I'll feel bad and I'll be like, I totally understand. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'll listen and I'll hear you out. But sometimes it's just too much,
Yep.
especially because I don't like to share my business or
Yeah.
whatever. When I got stuff going on, don't really want to share it. I
Yep.
can manage my own emotions and everything and deal with it my own way
Yeah.
in private. I just, I don't know. I can't emphasize the way that other people can.
Yeah. I mean I'm the exact same way. I agree with that. Like my personal life, very outside of like, oh, just got a new job or like random shit that really just doesn't matter, to be honest. But like when
Hmm.
it comes to like real emotional shit, other than the shit that I'm intentionally milking, like
Yeah.
it's it's nobody else's fucking business. Because as soon
Yeah.
as I put it online, like everyone's going to expect that 10 times over. Like they're going to expect everything that happens, every emotion I feel during a breakup, during a, like a family passing or something like that. None of that shit is your guys' fucking business. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it's okay. I'm going to take this a step further for you. The people who you have no idea who the fuck they are DMing you,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man, like, I feel really sorry, but who the fuck are you kind of thing.
Yeah.
They just, they lay that on you during stream with $100 donation. And they're like, man, Red, like, I have to be honest, I'm really going through it. Could be a first time chatter or someone that you've like been knowing for a while.
Yeah.
Send $100 to you, and you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then you read their message, and they're like, Red, I've really been going through it. Like, I just really need like a distraction right now. Like, I'm like, if it wasn't for your stream, I probably would have done something tonight. Like, have you had that experience yet?
I have not had that experience yet. I feel like if I had had an experience like that, I would accept something like that because they're like, "Hey, like, thank you for the distraction, whatever." But if it was just like full on like talking about what's going on right now and how you feel like you're going to self-harm or do something, whatever the case may be at the current time or whatever, or that you did it the other night or whatever, then I'd be like, I understand. This is not the place for it. Send it to my DMs. I'll listen,
Okay.
but like if you're just like coming in and you're like, thank you for the distraction because I was really sad and I was feeling down and I was thinking about it, I would DM you after, or I'd be
Mhm.
like, I'm glad that I'm able to do these things for you. I'm going to DM you after. We're going to talk about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that isn't so broad, and they're like, I'm going through some things right now, and instead they say, oh man, I just found out that my girlfriend's been cheating on me for the last 3 weeks, and I came home and she was there with a fucking dude. My mom just died last week, and like just going through all these fucking things, and they're going into the intimate details in this message, like in your stream. Do you handle that separately or differently than like a broad message? Or is it still like a same case scenario?
That would be another talk to me in the DMs about this.
Okay.
Send this to me in the DMs. Let's not talk about this in my chat.
Yeah, and that's probably the most professional way that you can handle that. Um,
Yeah.
I feel a lot of people are probably scared to do that, especially if it follows up with like I was gonna do something tonight. It's I personally, thankfully, have not had to experience that yet. But yeah, that's something that is probably a scary experience of something I'm not looking forward to having to deal with. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even necessarily scared about what they're gonna say to me or whatever in my DMs or anything like that. It's more based off of the fact that one, I don't want them to embarrass themselves
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and air out
I'm
any
not
like
worried about the
excuses.
message. Like it's
Yeah. Two, I don't want it to bring down the vibes of other people.
that's fair.
Three, it also concerns me now and makes me worry in the middle of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like I will, because I'll just be sitting on my phone, whatever, chatting to people while I'm streaming.
Hmm.
And I can do that without people coming into my chat and making it publicly known to a bunch of other people. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just something like yeah, it's a tough one. Like I don't you don't know what you're gonna do in certain situations until it happens. So it's
Exactly. Like my
hopefully
DMs
that
are
never
always
does
open,
happen.
but please don't put that out
Right.
there like that.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the entire reason we even touch on that is because I feel like the months of like September to January are just like the depressive season for a lot of people. I personally know people this year who have received those DMs, those donations, stuff like that. It is real world situations, and no matter the size of creator that you are, you could receive those. So I lead into the discussions for options of how people can handle it with people who are at the professional level that you are with your streaming. So
yeah.
we do have a couple more questions to wrap up here. For all of the people out there who are afraid to hit the record button, take a new step in their content creation, learning how to edit, sending an email to a sponsor, pressing the live button, applying for respawn recruits, any of that kind of stuff. What is the message to the people that are too nervous to or are scared to do anything?
Um, I definitely recommend like people who are scared to do those things to like applying, emailing, hitting live, whatever. If you're going to go live, make sure you have like all of your stuff set up first, like your socials, your panels, everything is good, looks good. Have somebody review these things if you're so scared. You know what I mean? If you are that scared and you feel like you need to be a perfectionist, which I can be, so I get, have somebody review it first, for sure. Um, when it comes to applying for stuff, like I've said before, worst thing they can say is no,
Mm-hmm.
and then we try again. I'll use
True.
an example. I brought out onto the public that I wanted to be partnered or sponsored with Dunkin' Donuts. I've been doing that for years. Wanted that so bad. One day they commented and they said, DM us your blah, blah, blah. And then I did. And then they said, here's the email, send in your stuff. So I did. They never responded to me. I'm still going to try. I'm going to keep trying.
That
Eventually,
is
I'm going to get
fair.
their attention.
The worst thing they can't say is no. The worst thing they can do is ignore you. But that doesn't mean that they didn't see you.
Yeah.
It's um
Yep.
some companies have the courtesy to flat out deny you, which is what you can ask for from bigger companies. But maybe they didn't see it. Fuck it, send it again. Like
Yep. Send it
until they
again.
tell you
We'll use
no.
Elgato as another example.
Yeah.
I sent in my stuff for Elgato. A lot of people did. A lot of
Yeah.
people
I
got
did.
rejected. I haven't
Yep.
seen a single person get partnered
I've
for
seen one.
Elgato yet.
When I saw
You saw one?
like 9 last year, just in the respawn community, like it was.
Now there's nobody. There's like big names
Yeah.
out there that are getting denied,
Yep.
and I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I saw it, milked it a little bit by putting a picture and said, "Aw, dang it.
Oh, everyone did.
Try again next year."
Yeah, everyone
Whatever.
did.
Yeah, everyone did it. Try
I think
again.
everyone expected to kind of get it too, based off like I didn't even put one in last year because I was like Elgato isn't looking at little fish right now. And then like, not to call a bunch of creators little fish, but like some of the creators that I've been working with all throughout Respawn Recruits like nailed that shit. I was like, motherfucker. Like, God.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I should have applied last year, dang it.
Oh, you didn't either?
I didn't either.
Yeah, like, oh man, we should have rode
Thought
that
I was too
momentum off of
little.
Respawn, bro. Yeah, I know, like,
We
right?
fumbled. We
Fuck.
fumbled. But guess
Fuck.
what? It's a no. We'll try again.
Yeah, we'll try again. Yeah, I gotta work on some shit first, but yeah, I'll try again.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. We're gonna get a little more specific than just like the general of creators who want to start. A lot of people will probably say that you're already at a disadvantage or advantage, depending on if people are misogynistic or not. But a lot of people would probably say that you're at a disadvantage being a female getting into content creation and streaming, because even though the female space is getting more expanded upon, I would argue that it still is a male-dominated space. 100% more male creators and streamers, at least on the bigger end. Like almost every big streamer creator is male. I would say like 85 to 90%. And the females that are big probably get picked on and say that they have an OnlyFans or something that got them there.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about your experience as a female in the space, and just some like encouragement that you could give to specifically the women who are terrified to get into the space.
I think the biggest advice that I can give a woman is, because I understand how challenging it is. I mean, I'm a woman. I'm a redhead. I'm gaming. Like, yeah, I get it. So, obviously, like, make sure you have somebody you fully trust that's always a mod that's going to be around to be able to, like, just ban these people. I know you're going to get a lot of comments like, do you have an OnlyFans? I've heard a lot of comments about, I would be a bigger streamer if only I had boobies.
Yeah.
I'm flat-chested, so good luck with that. No. It's just either play with your food or ban it. This is the biggest advice I can give you as a woman. Play with your food or ban it. For me, because I'm making money off of these comments, I play with my food.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I come up with some smart ass comments.
That makes dude, you have some of the wittiest fucking snapback shit I've heard, like especially during Respawn Recruits when you were getting like crazy numbers on posts, and then like coming into the streams, like I would see like a bunch of people make those comments. You're like, I can't even fucking think of what you were saying off the top of your back. But like,
yeah, I can't either.
What is Steph, right? Steph is the one who like makes a lot of videos off of who is the voice of or the main person for the people that you were an ambassador for? Stanford Silent or
Steffi Evans.
Steffi Evans, yeah.
Yeah, rights to unmute.
Rights to unmute, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. That is the correct way to make content out of making fun of misogynistic men.
I think one of her biggest videos was every single time somebody told her to go make a sandwich, she went out, she made a sandwich, and then she donated it to like a homeless shelter or something like that, or like Kids in Need or something like that. I don't know. But make content out of it.
Yep.
Play with your food. You don't like it, just ban it.
Yep. You gotta
I know it sucks,
stay comfortable
and I
in your
understand.
space.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people when you're growing as a small creator that'll just like, they'll be like, well, at least they're a viewer, and then you just let them degrade you in your chat. I'm like, bro, I promise you they're gonna leave like the second that they get a rise out of you. Like they aren't gonna stay there after they've already got their mission accomplished. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's basically everything that I've gotten as far as topics. Is there anything that you think we should hit on that we haven't, regarding around the mental space for content creation, streamers, anything in general that you would like to touch on, a message to send people off, etc.?
Think I have anything. Just sorry, Amarok. Sorry, Biz. My bad. Brain fart.
Oh man. I will give you the opportunity, if you would like to close out the Brain Freeze podcast. and I'll follow up behind you if you want.
I think it's a good idea for me to end this out. Bye, Brain Freeze. See you later.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching the season 2 premiere of the Brain Freeze podcast. Thank you so much, Red, for being the first guest on season 2. It was awesome to talk to you, dude. Like, I've had quite a few conversations with you in the past, mostly through streams, but we've had some one-on-ones, and it was good to get to know a little bit more about you. Good to get a lot of advice out of you for a lot of creators that are going to be starting up and hopefully be watching this to learn a little bit more and get a little bit more confident within themselves. If you guys want to know more about Red or watch her, all of her socials will be listed down in the description. Definitely recommend checking her out. She has some really unmatched energy that can be scary sometimes, but I definitely recommend giving her a watch. And that's all I got, guys. So I will see you guys on the next episode of the Brain Freeze podcast. Remember to be kind, spread love, and as always, stay frosty. We'll see you guys next time. Take it easy and peace out.